Hi folks, Scunny Paul here with another away day guide. This one is for Forest. We're giving it a little revamp. It's coming up. Okay, Nottingham Forest. Not to be shortened, by the way. Notts refers to the county, Nottinghamshire. Nottingham refers to the city. And obviously, Notts County are the local rivals, so they don't take very kindly to that shortened version of the name. So Nottingham it is. It's the second oldest surviving league football club in the world, and they've called the City Ground home since 1898, making it one of those good old traditional football grounds that we love. It's seen a lot down the years, from the pitch getting bombed during the war right through to the nearby River Trent bursting its banks, causing a flood which reached the crossbar. So it's a ground that's seen a lot both outside of football and within it, having had a strong history of success in days gone by. Interestingly, they played here with goals that were narrower than everybody else's for 16 years before the FA introduced a rule change which meant the goals were measured from the inside of the posts. These guys had worked with a local developer and brought in elliptical shaped posts some time before, and all of a sudden new posts started getting developed and the FA realised that there was some inconsistency there. So they brought in this new rule and this was then discovered. It was only 2 inches, but in a game where everything's fine margins could mean quite a lot. But anyway, moving on from that, the record attendance was 49,946 way back in 1967, and the current capacity, now that the stadiums are all seated, is 30,404, with just under 3,000 being set aside for the away supporters. If you're coming on coaches, there is a large parking area right outside the away end, so you'll be dropped there. Your coach will stay there and you can go off and find somewhere to have a beer. Alternatively, if you're coming in on train, Nottingham Central Station is on the East Midlands main line, so it's quite easily accessible, and that'll leave you with a 20 to 25 minute walk to the stadium from there, but there's some pubs on your way and I'll get to those in a minute. For those driving in, there's plenty of parking dotted around the city. On a match day, you'll find the local rivals aren't playing. There's a lot of matchday car parks that they use for their home support that they open up to visiting fans when Forest are playing, so that's quite handy. It's just across the river, maybe a 10-15 minute walk. Handier for the ground, just the other side of the main road near the bridge over the river. You've got City Hall, just the other side of the main road. That'll set you back around a standard matchday, £10 for parking now. They've got loads of space and you can find the entrance at Brick Ramp Raiders. If you're staying over, the majority of hotels in Nottingham are sort of north of the train station, the opposite way from the football ground. I've not focused on them too much. There is one just outside the train station called the Bentinck Hotel, and that's a postcode of November Golf 2 3 Alpha Juliet with a what 3 words for the front of game-faced candle. I usually like to do hostels and that if it's a city. Nottingham hasn't got a lot, at least not handy for the ground, but I did find something for groups called the River Room Apartments. You can actually see the away end out of the front windows. It's a few minutes walk away, and last I checked, prices were around £110 for a 2-person apartment, £150 for 4 people, and about £220 for 6 of you, which works out just shy of £37 each, which isn't bad. And they're apartments, not hotel rooms, so you've got like a little bit more luxury in there. You can find them on hotels.com, which is where I found them, but they're probably going to be on your other accommodation finding sites as well. November Golf 2 5 Foxtrot Whiskey is a postcode for it, with groups Wishes Motor getting you to the front door if you are using the what 3 words up. As for away friendly pubs, there's quite a decent selection in Nottingham. A few of them have got a little bit funny over recent years after the promotion back to the Premier League. There's a Spoons on the corner of the cricket ground and a pub called the Loward, the opposite side. They both used to be away friendly and now they've got like signs up saying strictly home fans only, and obviously they're not into it anymore. But fortunately, there's plenty of other options. My personal favourite, I head there every time we go for the first few drinks, is the Stratford Haven pub. It's a small one on a little corner behind the main road. It's run by Castle Rock Brewery, which is a local microbrewery kind of thing, but it has a decent handful of these pubs in and around the area, and they're very well run and well respected. They get a lot of awards locally from things like Camera, and they have a really good choice of high-end, nice quality stuff at a fair price. I went in there a few seasons ago and I got into the strong real ales, and I'll be honest, I can't remember much of the game, but that's a story for another day. Road Scary Error will get you to the front door. It's a mixed pub. You'll meet friendly Forest fans in there. Have a really good chat about football history. I've never once gone in there and not met a Forest fan that I haven't left chatting with. If you're coming in by train, the Bentinck that I mentioned earlier has a bar underneath. You should be able to get a drink in there, but the more popular one for people heading from the train station to the ground, it's probably a quarter of the way there. Swung Sheep Bits will get you on the footpath outside Hooters, and it always fills up quite well with visiting supporters. Coming down closer to the ground, they're Local rivals open up their normally home fan only bar. It was called the Broken Wheelbarrow. It's now been renamed since the start of the 22 season, and it's called the Meadow Lane Sports Bar, which makes more sense. Hits with Cities will find you the front door in basically what is a giant wall, unless you know what you're looking for. So that's a really handy, 3 words. And then a new one I found last season when we were there was the Brewhouse and Kitchen, just on the north side of the bridge. On the right, as you're coming from the train station, you'll be able to see the ground on the left ahead of you over the river. It's the last thing before you cross. That's big, it's popular, again mixed, but there's more away fans in there, I felt, when we were there. It might be different for other teams, I don't know. But you do have to go sort of down there's 2 walkways down the side of the river. There's a lower one that'll get you on the riverbank and a higher one that'll access some businesses. That's the entrance that they have open on a match day, so they can restrict who gets in and out. And Inches Zips itself will get you to the gate where the door staff will be letting people in. And one final one to mention before I move on is the Britannia, also known as the boat club or the rowing club locally. They used to invite away fans in actively. They don't anymore, but they don't necessarily ban them outright. However, don't turn up with a kit on, obvious accent of the team that's playing there, and expect to get in. You'll probably get knocked back. But if, like me, a Newcastle fan without a Geordie accent, something like that applies to you, and you pay a nominal fee, I think it was £1 or £1.50 to get in at the bottom of the stairs, head on up. Beer's cheap, it's packed out, it's a good atmosphere, it's mostly home fans. The walls are adorned with history of the club and obviously the boathouse itself, and it's a decent little venue, which is on the opposite corner to the away fan turnstiles. Speaking of which, when you're ready to head there, you do need to be on the east, sort of east-northeast kind of side of the ground. It's the one corner that is enclosed, the other 3 are open. Away fans will be housed in the lower section, and you have to make your way around. When we came out of the boathouse a few years ago, we went along the riverbank and then along a canal and got there quite easily. But coming around the other way, if you try to go like anti-clockwise around the ground, or try to cut in through different streets, and you finish up they have like a street-based fan zone, and people will redirect you and say, not down here, mate. They're not being unfriendly, they're being helpful actually. It's quite a trek around the stadium, right to this tiny little corner of a car park where there's a gate that all the coaches gain access through, but that's the only way into there. And your 3 words for that spot is single early dance. Once you get in there, you're fine. It's pretty quick into the ground. There is a search process in place, but they're quite efficient with it. You'll be housed behind the goal and to the right in the lower tier. The views are alright. You'll have Forest fans behind you on either side, and they're a decent crack as well. They do like to sing about being European champions and that, although most of the people actually singing it weren't even born the last time they won anything, but that's another matter. Anyway, have a cracking day. Hope you get the result you're after. I've been Paul. I'll see you in the next one. If you found this useful, you can help me out by clicking the subscribe button. It's free of charge, and it really does help. You can also drop a like on the video itself, and why not share it with friends if you think they'll find it useful. Cheers!